everyone, Mitch coming in from the Commander's Core studio. Welcome to the show. So on today's episode, I've got a brand new Tifa card for you that is going to pack quite the punch. With all that said, let's jump into it. So Tifa, martial artist, I believe with the Final Fantasy spoilers for some of the main characters, they've been actually releasing them on their birthday, which must have been the other day for Tifa, so happy belated birthday, Tifa. Tifa, martial artist, we've got a 4/4 human monk for 4 mana in Naya with melee. Whenever this creature attacks, it's going to get +1/+1 until end of turn for each opponent you attacked this combat, and that is going to be a very, well, relevant thing because whenever one or more creatures you control at power 7 or greater, so yeah, you can get to 7 with this creature itself, deal combat damage to a player, untap all creatures you control. If it's the first combat phase of your turn, there is an additional combat phase after this phase. So this is an extra combats commander that is very low to the ground and in some very good colors for being extra combats oriented. You can do a lot of crazy things with it, and of course keep in mind with melee or melee or however you say that, yeah, every single time you get an extra combat, you're going to be pumping even further. Let's say that you do get to the max, okay? Let's say that you've got 3 opponents that you attacked. Cool, you did that. This is a 7/7 in the first combat. If you get it through and it hits, you get that extra combat, which is fantastic. And of course, untapping as well. And there's ways to potentially use and abuse that as well that we'll talk about here in a bit. But of course, again, just with that very scenario, the exact same scenario, you then get to attack again. And if you're attacking all 3 opponents again, all of a sudden, this is a 10/10 coming through. And if you hit that same opponent, that's 17 commander damage in total. So as you can see, it's quite easy to actually get this to be a, well, potentially even just one-shot KO itself. I mean, if you just give this +2/+2 on the turn with something else, I guess that'd be each combat. +4/+4 would have to be it, essentially, right? You can get to that 21 damage. And of course, with maybe, let's say, double strike, and yes, we'll talk about ways to actually integrate that into this deck. This is a not one-shot KO commander, but a one-turn KO commander on anyone if you are attacking enough opponents, essentially, right? So yeah, this is a commander that can really pack a punch as well. I mean, just like not Voltron style, but it kind of just can inherently be Voltron-y because it can just take opponents out very quickly on its own. Or, again, obviously, if you're utilizing other types of creatures out there that really care about attacking or care about getting combat damage through, you can really utilize them a ton with a commander like this. And of course, obviously, you're in the right color combination for an absurd amount of extra combat cards, most of which now are pretty expensive. No thanks to Ishin. Goodness gracious, Ishin is making all the extra combat cards expensive. That being said, of course, we do have some great options out there still, and some ways that we can utilize this commander, because you might be thinking, ooh, double strike, yeah, double that up. There is a limitation on this, though, where you're not untapping your creatures with that on the second combat that you would be getting. Okay, we'll go through that, though, and there's actually a way to get around that, of course. So let's jump into some cards that work really well with this one that you should be considering. And also, of course, this card in the 99 of a commander deck is going to be fantastic too. So we will jump into some commanders that will definitely be considering Tifa in the 99 of their decks. So first up, we've got Sarah's Blessing. This is an enchantment that I absolutely love. I do think it is underrated. It is very simple but very effective. An enchantment for 2 mana in white. Creatures you control have vigilance. I think actually I might have pointed this one out on a recent episode about cards that look terrible because some people don't like to play like with older cards essentially, but are actually very, very good. I might have pointed that on that episode. Maybe I didn't. Anyways, check that episode out. That being said, giving your team vigilance for just 2 mana, just a blanket, okay, my entire team has vigilance, is fantastic because now you can be more aggressive. You can, stay back on defense while also being aggressive on offense. But especially with a commander like this, again, the quote-unquote downside to this commander, right, if you are to apply, say, a double strike to it, is that you do get that trigger twice. Technically, you get extra combat phases. Again, you get 2 extra combat phases if you met that 7 power or greater combat, requirement. But here's the thing. You get to untap on that first one, but you're not untapping on the second one because you untap right away on that hit. So you kind of double untap, but that really doesn't matter for your next combat after the one that you're just getting. So, by granting your creatures vigilance, it means that untap does not matter. You are swinging, you hit, you untap, which again, doesn't matter because you have vigilance, and then you get 2 extra combats, again, in combination with that double strike. So again, by having these kind of cards like Sarah's Blessing or Always Watching, depending on if you are going heavier into token or non-token creatures, essentially, jam for 3 mana, Non-token creatures you control get +1 and have vigilance. Again, this is kind of like the other side of Intangible Virtue, which is fantastic at 2 mana, but for token creatures, if you are going in one direction or the other, I'd say you're probably more likely to go with like the non-token creatures. Just personally, I think you'd probably go with this commander. So I would include this one, but obviously the other one you'd go intangible, or you can just go both if you've got like a mix of both. But again, granting vigilance is huge. Or how about Sight of the Scale Lords? Enchantment for 5 mana in green. Beginning of combat on your turn, creatures you control with toughness 4 or greater get +2/+2 and gain vigilance until end of turn. Rules layers out there, please help me out with this one, but I believe this would just stack every single one of your combats, right? You'd be like, okay, first combat, +2/+2 vigilance. Awesome. Next combat, +2/+2. The next combat after that, if again I double strike vigilant, kind of thing, okay, cool, I get +6/+6 in total with this. That would be insane. I mean, even already +4/+4 is insane. And of course, granting the vigilance to all your tough creatures, including your commander, is massive. So again, it depends with this one if you have, again, enough creatures in the deck that are like, oh, okay, yeah. You've got enough, you've got enough toughness to actually, make the most of this. Because being able to have tough, vigilant creatures makes it so that you can get through, makes it so that you can actually, again, just keep using and abusing combats by getting extra ones that you shouldn't be able to get with this commander. Now when it comes to Double Strike again, this is a card that I do believe is underrated. I love Blood Mist, an enchantment for 4 mana in red. Beginning of combat on your turn, target creature you control gains Double Strike until end of turn. Now there are definitely better cards than this, and I'll bring up one here in a little bit. But yes, again, the key to this deck is literally, okay, can I just get, Vigilant plus Double Strike on my commander, or other ways to maybe untap my team? Because if I can, all of a sudden, again, I can get 2 extra combats in a turn versus just 1, which is already great, but again, that is game-ending to be able to get extra combats. You can just, hit to hit to hit. You could take out all players in 1 turn if you're set up properly, literally, with this commander, which can just be pretty insane. I mean, I'm thinking about another card I'll bring up here in a little bit, I believe, that would just be this plus Double Strike plus Vigilance equals, your commander just wins you the game, which is kind of crazy if you can get it through. Berserker's Onslaught, though, is the card that I kind of referenced earlier. Enchantment for 5 mana, 1 extra mana, in my opinion, is obviously better than Blood Mist. Attacking creatures, you can draw a Double Strike. Yeah, usually what you care about Double Strike, again, is on the attack. It'd be nice on defense as well, but you know what? We're going to pay a little less and just have it on the attack for my entire team. Hit twice as hard, and of course, with any combat damage triggers, including my commanders, double them up. So yeah, thank goodness Wizards finally reprinted this, and it took forever. I think it was in Bloomberg when they reprinted it. So yeah, it is finally reprinted. It is a great card. Pick it up right now, and again, utilize it with this commander, and again, in combination with Vigilance. Don't fall into the trap of thinking that you get 2 extra combats that you can utilize, again, if you don't have the Vigilance, because, yeah, you kind of need that on tap, and you only get that on the hit. So, make sure you keep that in mind. Moving on, though, let's talk about some cards that can stack really well with getting extra combats, and one thing that does come to mind is Myriad. Let's talk about that with Hammers of Maraudon, a 3/3 Dwarf Cleric for 3 mana in white. Again, Myriad means when it attacks for each opponent other than the defending player, you can create a token that's a copy of this creature that's tapped and attacking that player or planeswalker they control. Exile the tokens at the end of combat, and whenever this stacks for each opponent, tap up to 1 target creature that player controls. Being able to essentially go, attack again, and every single time you're attacking all the players, that is fantastic. This just gives you essentially the green light for that melee, like, oh, okay, cool. I'm attacking all of my opponents just with 1 creature, literally. So all of a sudden, I get to do that. On top of that, again, when this is attacking with each opponent, you get to tap 1 creature they control. So essentially, you're able to stack that in combat as well. Tap down their things, make their blockers, minimize the number of blockers they have, make their blocking scheme a lot less effective, get your commander through, and of course, with each extra attack, let's say, again, you get an extra combat. Cool, all right, tap down more. That's 6 creatures you've tapped down. You get that third combat, I should say, tap down even more than that. So it can just really leave opponents wide open. Yeah, there's a lot of cool things that you can do with Myriad, so definitely keep that in mind. And actually, one of those things pairs really well with a card that will work great in this deck, and that is Champion of Lambholt, a 1/1 human warrior for 3 mana. Creatures with power less than Champion of Lambholt's power can't block creatures you control. Whenever the creature enters the battlefield under your control, put a counter on Champion of Lambholt. Being able to essentially go, you know what? Myriad is getting me a ton of tokens. I get a lot of creatures in play, or just, if you have a go-white strategy in general, this one too, you might be doing that. I get a ton of power on this, and all of a sudden, my entire team is unblockable. Yes, please. And of course, with Champion of Lambholt itself just becoming like a giant threat, it can be a one-shot KO in a combat cycle for you as well. Going, I hit that player. Okay, I hit that player again. and I hit them a third time with my third combat, and they are very, very gone, because this can very easily get to 10 plus power. Of course, another way to get damage through, and yeah, you really want to make sure you can get at least a little bit of damage through with your commander. Garrick's Uprising, enchantment for 3 mana in green. Enters the battlefield if you control a creature power 4 or greater, draw a card. I mean, check mark already on that. Your commander has 4 power. Creature control have trample, which is huge. And whenever a creature power 4 or greater enters the battlefield under your control, draw a card. Again, that can actually play into Myriad creatures as well, so do keep that in mind. But yeah, just in general, a lot of your creatures can be pretty big, especially when you have something like Collective Blessing. Again, a great go wide, hey, pump your entire team enchantment, a great anthem for 6 mana in Selesnya. Creatures you control get +3/+3. That is a massive boost. And again, with our commander, it turns it nearly into a one-cycle, one-shot KO, essentially, on any opponent, which is kind of crazy. One that definitely does, though, is Raised by Giants. Again, increasing our power on our commander can make it so that, well, it's easier to get damage through something like Trample, but of course, also, yeah, turns our commander into a one combat cycle. I mean, again, I say one combat cycle. I mean, like, one turn cycle of, like, multiple combats. KO. You just take an opponent out, and they literally, they could have been at, 1,000 life, no commander damage, and all of a sudden you're like, okay, I hit you again, you're gone. The creatures you own have base power toughness 10/10 and are giants in for their types. This is an enchantment that costs 6 in green. Yeah, being able to say, okay, my commander is a 10/10. All right, I swing. Melee occurs. All right, awesome. I get extra power. I mean, even if it's just 1, it doesn't matter. All right, I'm at 11. I hit you. And then I get an extra combat. I untap. I do it again. You're gone. That's 22 commander damage right then there. Actually, 23 technically because the melee again. But yes, being able to just take players out, it's very easy to do that when you are set up properly. Other kinds of cards that you might want to take advantage of are cards like Frontline Medic, which require you to be attacking a good amount with a good amount of creatures. And you're going to be doing that again because you really want to get that extra power for your commander when possible. So being able to be like, okay, I'll swing with these, and Frontline Medic can really help with that swing too. 3/3 Human Cleric for 3 mana in white. Whenever it and at least 2 other creatures attack, creatures you control gain indestructible until end of turn. That is massive. Being able to go, okay, I just swing in combat however I'd like to, at whoever I want to, and all of a sudden, you can't take my creatures out in combat, which is absolutely great. You can also sacrifice it to counter a spell at X and its mana cost, that's to pay 3. It's just a nice little deterrent to be in play, to be like, oh, okay, you're gonna play like your Villainous Wealth. Well, either you don't pay 3 extra mana, or we make a deal or something, because I'm just gonna counter it. There you go. Odric Master Tactician, though, there is no deals made with this one. 3/4 Human Soldier, first strike for 4 mana in white. Whenever it and at least 3 other creatures attack, you choose which creatures block this combat and how they block. That is massive. I feel like when you're kind of newer to Magic, you might underrate something like this, but this is absolutely huge where, yeah, as long as I'm attacking with enough creatures, which I will be with this kind of a strategy, all of a sudden I'm like, okay, those creatures that I don't want to block can't block, so I can just get through with my commander, which is huge. And also, if I actually want to take certain creatures out, I can force the exact blocks that I want so that my creatures survive and theirs get taken out, which is absolutely massive. So yeah, cards that require like a couple of creatures attacking, you're going to be doing that anyways with this kind of a commander, so definitely consider these. That can be absolute game changers for you. Next up, though, how about a card like Sky Knight Vanguard, a 1/2 human knight with flying for 2 mana in Boros. Whenever it attacks, create a 1/1 white soldier creature token that's tapped and attacking. Being able to just go, okay, I've got a way to swing, ensuring that I can get, an extra melee, ++1/+1 on my commander, because it's an evasive creature. There's bound to be at least one opponent that doesn't have a flying blocker or a reach blocker. Cool. But on top of that, being able to get the extra attacker as well, meaning that, oh, okay, basically just by attacking the other 2 players that my commander's not attacking, I'm getting the most out of that melee, which is absolutely huge. Or just go like, hey, I'm just going to go so wide it doesn't matter. Assemble the Legion, enchantment for 5 mana in Boros. At the beginning of your upkeep, put a muster counter on it. Then you get a 1/1 red and white soldier creature token with haste for each muster counter on it. Being able to essentially go, okay, you know what? This turn I get 1. Next turn I get 2, and then 3, and then 4. I mean, once you even just hit the second turn, it's just those 2 creatures plus your commander equals full pump from the melee, so that is absolutely huge. But of course, this can be a game ender on its own. I mean, on its own, yes, but also like with Collective Blessing or something like that, even quicker. So it's a great card for a commander deck like this. Speaking of which, Silverwing Squadron. This is a star flying vigilant human knight for 6 mana. Power toughness each equal to the number of creatures you control. Whenever it attacks, create a number of 2/2 white knight creature tokens with vigilance equal to the number of opponents you have. actually creating creatures that have vigilance, or just this one having vigilance itself, can be great. That if you don't have, say, like a Sarah's Blessing in play, but you've got like Blood Mist, or, you know, one of those ways to give your commander double strike, you can still get those extra combats, and your commander might not be able to swing on, like, say, like the third combat or whatever it is, but your vigilant creatures can. So it's kind of like you know, already have that out there. So being able to essentially make a giant army of attackers for you is absolutely massive. So yeah, go wide, go tall. What's not to love about this card? Next up, though, make sure you're considering some haste enablers, too, though, like Rising of the Day, a great enchantment for just 3 mana in red. Creatures you control have haste. Literally, if you just stop right there, it's like a fervor, and that's like all you kind of care about, essentially. It's just, okay, my creatures have haste, cool. But on top of that, though, legendary creatures you control get +1/+0. That can actually matter, obviously, like a nice little pump effect for you for any legendaries you have. Of course, your commander, again, with winning with commander damage can be great for that, too. It's a great card for a deck like this. Speaking of which, Ogre Battle Driver, oh my goodness. A 3/3 Ogre Warrior for 4 mana in red. Whenever another creature you control enters, that creature gets +2/+0, gains haste until end of turn. Yeah, being super aggressive in combat is great for a deck like this, and also that little pump effect can make a big difference too. It's just a very nice card for a deck like this to help the aggressive plan really work. Next up, though, let's change things up with our perspective. Instead of just talking about, you know, what we're going to be doing with this as a commander, well, Tifa would be great in a lot of commander decks out there as well. I could utilize it like Aragorn the Uniter, a 5/5 human noble for 4 mana every color but black. Whenever you cast a white spell, create a 1/1 white human soldier creature token. Whenever you cast a blue spell, scry 2. Cast a red spell, Aragorn the Uniter deals 3 damage to target opponent. Whenever you cast a green spell, target creature gets +4/+4 until end of turn. I mean, here's the thing. You're checking a lot of boxes with Tifa. Again, it is 3 colors. You are getting, white, red, and green. So you're getting a 1/1. You're getting, you know, some damage on an opponent. You're getting a pump effect, too. That's lovely. And of course, again, with a commander like this, you can make a massive army. So, yeah, you can very easily pump Tifa quite a bit with that, while also getting extra combats with it, too. So, yeah, you can do a lot of great things with that. Next up, Jetmir Nexus of Revels. I mean, this one kind of just checks the boxes of, all right, yeah, Sarah's Blessing, plus, again, like a Blood Mist kind of thing. So, yeah, that's quite nice. Or should I say Berserker's Onslaught. Jetmir can definitely utilize it, and actually in the 99 of Tifa, inexpensive include at $8, but still a great include too. A 5/4 cat demon for 4 mana in Naya. Creatures you control get +1/+0 and have vigilance as long as you control 3 or more creatures. The same is true, but at 6, but an extra, you know, trample on the +1/+0. And then at 9, an extra +1/+0 and double strike 2. So essentially, once you're at the peak of this card, once you have 9 creatures in play, you get +3/+0, vigilance, trample, and double strike, which are all, of course, incredibly relevant to this brand new card. Tifa would do really well in a deck like this. Again, basically, okay, it's kind of like a match made in heaven. You're going to be able to attack all 3 opponents, so do that. You get, you know, an extra +3, so Tifa is at, 10 power, essentially, on that swing, which is massive, plus double strike, and then you're going to hit. You get 2 extra combats after that, and then Tifa just keeps growing each combat as well. I mean, your opponents will not survive. If you literally have Tifa plus this, and you're at that 9 creatures, your opponents will not survive when you are attacking. They just won't. So yeah, that is a match made in heaven. Again, Jetmir in a Tifa deck or Tifa in a Jetmir deck. So yeah, make sure you're considering either one. Gahiji Honored One is a great choice as well. 4/4 Beast for 5 mana in Naya. Whenever a creature attacks one of your opponents or planeswalker opponent controls, it gets +2/+0 until end of turn. Again, a really nice way to pump your team when they're attacking any of your opponents, but also a great way to encourage your opponents to attack each other instead of attacking you. That being said, again, with Tifa, it's like, okay, extra power, an extra way to get damage through. And again, if I am already encouraged to attack all my opponents, it's going to work out quite well for that. Of course, Joda the Unifier as well, just a very solid card for, hey, you know what, just chuck every kind of legendary creature you can think of into a deck. But of course, on top of that, already a great pump effect for your legendary creatures. 5/5 Human Wizard for 5 mana in all colors. Wooburg. Legendary creatures you control get +X, I should say, not +1, much more than 1. Where X the number of legendary creatures you control. Whenever you cast a legendary spell from your hand, exile from the top of your library until you exile a legendary non-land card, mana value lesser than that. You may cast the card without paying its mana cost. The rest are bottom of your library in random order. Basically, legendary cascade plus legendary mass pump. Yeah, being able to just mass pump your entire team and just say, oh, okay, now, by the way, also, thanks to Tifa getting through, I get an extra combat. So, have fun with that. Or, again, if I have double strike and vigilance, too, sure, I got Jetmir in play as well. Awesome. 2 extra combats. It's going to be game over. It's just going to be game over. So, to wrap things up, well, Tifa is a very exciting commander, one that can be kind of like it's kind of Voltron-y. It definitely can be Voltron-y, but it can also just be benefiting by going wide, too. It definitely can. I would play both. I wouldn't focus on, okay, everything is just Voltron for this. I would focus on, going wide in an appropriate way that works well with this commander, but then just as soon as you literally start hitting someone, they're probably gone. They are just gone. You have enough, extra little pump effect. You've got, the double strike vigilance kind of combination going on, where literally you're just taking opponent out after opponent after opponent, and it's just so easy for you to do once you are finally set up properly. And of course, they've got to deal with all the other creatures that you're throwing at them. And yeah, again, in the 99 of certain strategies out there, again, this is oh, cool, all right, I can hit incredibly hard while also giving you 1 or 2 extra combats with each turn cycle around. That is absolutely crazy, and you're going to get so much value out of it, again, with a Jetmir type strategy. Yeah, Jetmir plus Tifa, that's definitely a great combination to consider. If you're interested in any of these cards that I'm talking about in this episode, though, make sure you check out that card list link in the description below. And with that, this episode is coming to a close. As always, comment below with your thoughts on it. And of course, as always, thanks again and have a good one. This show and episodes like this one are possible thanks to viewers like you. If you're looking for an easy way to help support this show, make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. Also, hit that bell notification icon so you don't miss any new episodes. You can also go check out our playmats and other merchandise at thecommandersquarters.com. Another easy way to support this show is with our TCG Player affiliate links. So whether you're buying a deck or individual cards, you can use this general link right here or one in the description. And the final way that you can support this show is by supporting us directly by becoming a patron. There are many benefits to being a patron, and I truly couldn't do this without all of their support.